Hi, Steve Sleeper here. For the latest Video Marketing Madness episode, Ray demoed all the features available in the awesome CapCut editing software. It's got some great special effects, and there's all kinds of things you can do that you can't do anywhere else. However, the best way to demo it was a video, and we did a YouTube live of it. I'm going to include the audio here because we typically do an audio podcast. But the best way to really see what's going on is to go over to YouTube, and the link is in the show notes. Thanks. Oh, by the way, we're going to pick it up where Ray starts his tutorial.
This here, CapCut, is a complete and utter game changer. And the reason I say that is because not only does it hit the right price tag, as in free, although you can buy an upgrade, which I highly recommend. But I told some people the other day it's $7.99. When I got it, it was $7.99. Apparently, it's $9.99 now. Somebody else said they could only find it for $29.99. But I sent them the link.
I think
apparently it's $9.99 now. But
I think I'm spending $15 a month. I use it primarily for subtitles, but it's also a great way to convert regular videos to shorts. It's the best converter I've seen out there.
Oh yeah, no, it does an amazing job with all of that. It does an excellent job. But the other reason that I love this is not just the price. It is easy to use. It has all the power features that you need without adding in that ridiculous complexity that other programs have. And it's got so many built-in fun effects that realistically, in a lot of ways, it blows away the much more high-end, high-priced video editing programs. And I'm talking about, doing really cool special effects at the click of a button where if you wanted to do that in Adobe Premiere, you'd be going into After Effects and, doing it manually and then bringing it back in, and it would be taking hours and hours to do. And in here, you click a button and it does it. It's absolutely amazing. So let's take a look here. I'm going to open up, let's just find a simple project here. Let's go with this. I'm not even sure what this one is, but we're going to open it up anyway. And it opened up on the other screen, so let me move it. Hold on. Here we go. My other screen is very wide, so there we go. All right. So we've got a project here. This is a very simple one. It is just a guy on a background. And you can see here, we can click on the different parts of it here. And we can even turn it off if we need to. So you can see he is on a green screen. So this is a green screened background on here. And if we look at this, you can see as we click on different items in here, there's going to be different changes to the interface. So for instance, if we had music in here, you would see a very different interface over here. If we had a graphic, you'd see a different interface. And of course, when we have the actual clips, you're going to see this particular interface here. Now, looking at the entire platform here, you're going to see over here, you've got your media. So this is what we're looking at here. You can see this is that background, right? So we could drag that back in here if we wanted. Okay. That's where your media is going to sit. This is where your audio is going to be. Now, in CapCut, one of the great things they have is just like if you put a video onto TikTok or to Reels, you have all these songs that are already in here ready to go. And you can find ones that are trending right now. So if you do the trending one, if you put out a video onto TikTok that has one of these trending audio tracks, it can actually help your video to be seen by more people because they're looking for content that uses that particular audio track. So it's very cool that they have that built right into there. Next, you have your text features, which we'll get more into that in a minute. But this allows you to do any of the types of text that you want to put on the screen here. So for instance, if we dragged this in like so, you can see there's our text. We can move it around, and we'll make some changes to that in just a minute. In fact, I'm going to leave it on there for the moment, just so we can use that in a bit. Next, what you have is your stickers. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is not something that I have used at all. I think I've used it only to play around. I think I may have used the subscribe one before, but those are basically just graphics that you can put in here, just like so. And so now you can have that on the screen when you want people to subscribe to your channel. And there's just a ton of these in here. Again, it's not something that I use very often, but many people do. And in reality, to an extent, I do actually use it in a different way. And I'll show you that in a few minutes here too. Next, we have the fun part, the effects. Now, this is where having that paid upgrade is going to benefit you because you do get a ton of effects completely for free. But when you do the upgrade, you get a ton more effects. And you can see some of these that have the little pro symbol there. Those are the ones that are going to require the upgrade. For instance, this one does not. And you can see it adds that little TV effect in there. Okay. But now if you look at like this one here, this is one of the paid effects. Okay. But look at how simple that was to make that change to that video. Now, it didn't permanently do it because we were just testing it, but it's that easy to make those kinds of effects on your videos. And there's, like I said, I mean, there's just tons and tons and tons of these effects. And you can see on the side, they're broken down by different types of different categories of effects. So for instance, these are split effects here. So you can see it's got the split screens. And this one here is interface effects. So if we want it to look like, an album cover, I mean, that's kind of cool, right? All of these things are built in here. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing some of the stuff that you can do just at the click of a button. Again, if you want to do this, okay, in some of those other programs, Premiere and whatnot, they've got plugins you can buy. Typically, those plugin packages are very expensive. But if you wanted to do this, you would have to, instead of just clicking a button like we just did, you would have to come in here, you would have to duplicate this layer, you'd have to put a box around them, you'd have to darken the outer layer, put a frame around it, find the graphics for the play buttons, put the play buttons on there, and you'd be spending a lot of time doing that as opposed to just literally clicking a button. And that's what really, really sets CapCut apart from some of the other video editing programs, is the fact that you can click a button and make some of these changes. Like this one here. I mean, that right there, if I had to do that, I mean, that's many hours if you had to do that manually, and it's built right in there. That's why I want to talk a lot about that, because they're fun. You can do a lot of cool things with them. Now, you've also got your transitions in here, which every video editing program usually has transitions. And again, you're going to have some that come free, and there's some that are paid. Like, for instance, this one's free. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to split this up here. Now, when you're playing with CapCut, you'll also notice that you've got some buttons down here. Okay. And if you hover over these, you're going to see what each one does. In this case here, this is going to split it. And so you can see here, we now have a split. So now we can actually add a transition to this transition point here. So I don't know what this one does, but you could add that in there and kind of see what it does. So you put a transition just like that. Now, again, we're transitioning from one item to the other that's actually the same, but you can kind of see the transition in there, even if it just goes to the same thing. Okay. So that's a really cool set of transitions that they've got in there. Again, broken down by category here. You've got masks and you've got slides and you've got glitches. So there's all sorts of fun things in here that you can use for transitions. And the cool thing is, with CapCut being so popular nowadays and whatnot, all these transitions are really popular doing these. It wasn't a few years ago where if you used a transition at all, it's like, oh, amateur hour, they're putting in a transition. But nowadays, transitions are really a part of our fast-paced, quick-cut, short video nature that we deal with most of the time. Okay, so the next one is something, and Steve talked a little bit about this. And Steve, you want to talk a little bit about the captions and kind of tell people how you use them and what they're for?
Well, how I use them is maybe a little bit different. I don't go to captions. I go to text. Can you
okay.
Can you click on text up there?
I sure can.
And then click on advanced. And then spoken language, go English.
Yep.
Oh, God, there's a bunch of them.
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on, so I'm blind here.
There it is.
There it is. All right, there's English.
And then click generate down there in the lower left corner of that window.
Exactly. Do you need to select that first? I can't remember if we have to select that, but we'll do that. So now you can see there it's generating. Now, I remember there was a time, Steve, where I sat there and said, how do these people keep putting all this text on the screen? That must take forever.
Everybody's using it. I mean, most of the excuse me.
Any of the vertical videos
Yeah, any of
always
the
use this.
oh, any of the vertical videos are using that now, and
Yep.
everything I see is using CapCut. But click on just go back to the beginning of the video and click on one of those captions or subtitles, and then
Yep.
go to over on the right hand side. Uh, the window on the far right side
Oh,
next, yeah,
sorry. Yes.
click on templates, and there you got all the templates that you can use. I don't know if those are going to pop up and show you what
So I
it
was
is
going
or
to say
not.
this is. I think this is the one that I typically use. If I, it's tough to tell them the little thing. Oh, and that's not quite it, but the same type of idea.
You know, they've got okay, these are starting to populate the graphics on them so you can see what they are, but they've got ones that if you go up a little bit, that will give you some graphics with it, so
Yes.
are you on fire, and it'll show a little
And
campfire
it'll
or
show a little
something.
fun.
Yeah,
And that's what I meant when I said earlier that I don't use the stickers, but
yeah.
really, realistically, I do because the captions will put them in automatically for you on some of those. And I apologize. It's really small on this screen, so I can't really see which one is which. But
Yeah, it's a little hard to see, but what
yeah,
you'll need to do is just kind of when I say you need to do, person watching this, is you need to just play around with it, see what works for you.
absolutely. That's exactly it. So and like I said, there's one in here that I use for all my stuff, but I'm not sure which one it actually is in here because I can't see it well enough.
So for my attorneys, I probably use something a little more conservative, and
Right.
for other things that are more fun, then I use things that are more fun and have stupid little emojis in it and stuff like that. So,
Yep. Absolutely.
but it's
And but
that's
this to
great.
me, this is the main reason to buy CapCut for most people is the ability not even to edit the videos, but to be able to put the text on the screen because that would be a ton of work. In fact,
Hmm.
the nerve doctors back in the day when we first started working with them, they wanted to put the text on the screen, and I had to literally type out 20 minutes worth of voiceover and whatnot on the screen
Oh yeah,
till
yeah.
I convinced them, YouTube has a caption thing built right into it. They're
Well,
like, oh, it
and
does? Yes. So you're getting captions on top of captions, but
one
so
of the courtroom videos I use, he used to have a microphone at the podium where the defense attorney was, and for some reason, I don't know, it they shut it off or they did something, but
mhm.
CapCut can still pick up what they're saying. I mean, you can hear them, and maybe if you've got young ears, you can understand what they're saying. But I don't have young ears,
I
so
I do have to say it does an amazing job of
it
getting the
picks it
words
up.
correct.
It picks it up, and if I don't do that, if I don't run it through CapCut and get the whole thing with subtitles or captions, whatever you want to call it, then I get all kinds of complaints. If I run it through CapCut, it picks up most of the words, even
Yep.
though I can't make heads or tails of what they're saying. CapCut sure can.
Yep. No, it does an amazing job. It really, really does. And I am always blown away by how, like, I don't recall ever having to come in here and adjust any of the text.
Um, I
I
once
mean,
I
I don't,
did.
and I'll be honest, I don't do it. I don't do it a ton. So, I mean, it's not like I've done hundreds and hundreds of videos where we do that. But where I've used it, I don't think I've ever had to come in and adjust any of the text. It's, you
I
know,
don't. I use it on shorts for the most part, but I have one
right.
attorney that wants subtitles on all his videos, and we use the rather conservative one, but something like that I could use on his videos, the one that you're using right now. I could use that. I just, we don't use anything with a lot of emojis or crazy typefaces, but and he loves having that there.
Yeah, no, and I think it looks good. It works well. The one thing I do find, of course, is you may have older videos where you've got text on the screen and now you're putting text on text, and that can be an issue. But even with that, by the way, like for instance, let's say that this clip here had some text on the screen from what he was saying. Well, you can adjust these. They don't have to be
Right.
sitting down here. You can,
No,
oops, I
I
moved him
do.
instead.
I move it around. So, for instance, with my attorney that likes to have uh, the subtitles, he's always standing. Well, as you look at the video when you're editing, he's standing far to the right, and so then we just move the text to the upper left, and it
Right.
works. It works great.
Yep. So you can do. Oh, and by the way, you can also do this.
Yeah. Hmm.
So it doesn't have to be just that long stretch of text. You can do things like this. And now, and by the way, this particular video here, when I pulled it up, I didn't know exactly what it was or why. What this video actually is, by the way, is an AI generated video. As you can probably tell by the voice, it doesn't. This guy does not necessarily look like the voice that's coming out of him. So it is an AI generated voice and it is an AI generated character.
Okay. Okay.
Now, and we're going to talk about that in a minute too. So,
Okay. So
again,
is
right here, you'll
caption
notice.
is captions just is captions just
Yep.
another way to get to that,
Yeah,
or
just same thing.
okay. Okay.
Same, just a different way to grab it. I think because it's so popular, they gave it its own little thing there. You've also got filters. Now, filters are different than effects. Effects are like where, you might put lightning around the person or do crazy things. Filters are more like adjusting the actual image itself. So maybe, higher contrast or saturation levels, things like that. So like if we click on this one here, this one says it is vivid too. So we're going to make him a little more vivid and see, you can see there, the colors are a little more vibrant.
Oh yeah.
So that's what that does.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there's lots of these in here for all sorts of different things. Like, and obviously, a negative would be
There you
one
go.
that people would be familiar with, big back in the day. So there's lots of those types of filters that are in here.
Hmm.
And again, broken down by categories. So you can do like portraits. And you got stylize, which will probably be the wild colors. Yeah. So you can do all sorts of fun things. The next one here is we have adjustments, and this we're not going to get too much into this because this has to do with LUTs and things like that. And LUTs are color like lighting treatments that you would bring in, and we're not going to get all into that because you're probably not going to have any to bring in anyway. But that's where you would do like advanced color correction and things like that. You've got templates that are already in here built in. Okay. So if you wanted to create a video that you wanted to have a template for already, these templates are in here and ready to go.
So those are AI videos essentially. Then
Not necessarily.
I see what. Okay, I can see
So
that.
they're not necessarily AI, but they're just templates that are already made, and you can go in and you can replace things. So you can change the person in there with a video that you have and keep all the effects. And
Okay,
things
well
like that.
let me
So
ask this. Let me ask this. Let's okay. So their portrait. I'm doing a short. Can you're right next to a good looking gal there, with a red purse and a black dress. Can I use that as my talent? Can the whole video be her with a voice on it?
From a legal standpoint, I'm not going to answer that. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
From a I would assume so. If they're putting it in here, I can't imagine that they wouldn't. Let's open it up here. Let's see. Sorry.
Okay. Okay.
So there you go. Now you obviously this one's 9 by 16, so you'd want to adjust the actual project because we got 16 by 9 here. But
Well, yeah, which you can do there.
so you can come in here and you can do whatever you want with that. So
Okay,
she's in there, but you'll notice it's got. So in this case, no, because this one definitely has watermarking on it. So
Oh, I
you have
see.
to replace that.
Okay. All right.
And it's easy to do. You come in here and you can replace any of the stuff that's in here just by clicking on
Well,
that and then changing that to a different image.
you may need to pay for it then.
Yeah,
And
well,
what?
I don't even know where they got it from. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it says.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Okay. That's
but you
great.
could replace this with another image. In fact, let's find an image we can replace it with. We'll just grab something here. I don't know if we got anything good. And we'll just grab that. So there you go. And so now the video has your image in there instead. So it's that easy. And some of these are more complex. This just has one image you change. That's it. Some of these are going to have lots of images in there that you'll be able to mess with. Okay. Now, the last one is one that I haven't used a ton, but I have messed with it a little bit. These are the AI avatars that are built into here. Okay. And hey, does this guy look familiar?
Oh, yeah.
As
Okay.
I said.
So that's okay.
Yeah,
That's where
there.
you would get your talent from then. I see.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So you can come in here and you can choose one of these people and drop them in there. And what's cool about that is, oh, it's telling me to check my connection and try again. Uh-oh. Does that once in a while, folks. It's trying to download the template or the person there, but it's
well,
it's
I get the idea.
But that's okay.
If I get the idea,
so
everybody will.
what's cool about it is because we still have this guy in here anyway. When we use these, like when we have them here, when you put the VO into it, it's going to automatically lip sync to that VO as well. And that's what really makes it cool is the fact that you can lip sync to it. And you've got different types of images for backgrounds and color backgrounds and things like that you can use. So there's a lot of neat things that you can do here with that. So then we're getting a pretty ugly video here, Steve.
Yeah. Now, well, go ahead.
That's okay.
Go ahead and back this. Go ahead and back up to the beginning on this video, the 1080 by whatever it is, the Hispanic
this one
guy.
Here, or?
No, the first one.
This guy. Yep.
Okay, and then I think yes. Okay, so go over to the where you can change it to a either 9:16 or 16. Yeah, 9:16.
Oh. So there's actually a few different ways that you can do that. So right now you can see we're in a 16:9 ratio, but we can actually change that. And what's cool is you not only can change the actual project itself, but what you can also do is you can actually change the way that the editor works with the 16:9 projects as well. And that's actually a really, really cool feature because what you can do is and sorry, again, I'm blind here, but
I go to the one
see right here
on
vertical.
The screen of the video. There's a little bar underneath there.
Right, but I want to show this part here. So this is the actual layout of the program, and so when you click on this, what it does is it creates a vertical thing. Now, obviously, our video there is not a vertical video, so that kind of makes it kind of janky. But when you put a vertical video in there, this is what it's going to start to look like is it's going to put it in here to make it easier for you to edit in the vertical format, which is really, really nice.
Oh,
I like that a lot.
Okay.
And, you still be, now, obviously, if we, actually, let me go out of this video completely for a second. And let me pull one that I know is 16:9. If I know of one that's 16:9, this one may be. Actually, you know what? This one I'm pretty sure is 16:9. And so now, and of course, it's looking for missing media. But so now you can see it fills up the 16:9 screen there. And that's really cool. Now, you've got buttons down on the bottom here where you can change your quality, by the way. So, for instance, if your computer is not fast enough to play back the video in real time, you can change the quality of it. And that's going to help make it a little easier there. You've got your zoom button where you can zoom in and out on your videos.
Uh-huh.
You got your aspect ratios that Steve was talking about. So if we wanted to change that to old style TV 4:3, we can do that. We don't want that. We can go back to 9:16. And of course, you can hit this to make it full screen so you can see the whole thing.
And I just use on the preview screen there in the lower right, there's a little button you can click onto it. It's kind of the quickest way to get to it, at least for me. That little button right there, yeah.
Yep.
And
can you see that on the screen?
I simply do that,
if you can see it.
and then I kind of move the video around so it fits into a port. So let's say I've got a landscape video and I want to make it portrait for shorts. I just take the landscape video.
Yeah, in fact, let's actually do that so that they can see what we're talking about here. So if I go back out, I'll go back out to our crazy guy video here.
Okay.
So now notice he's way over on the side here. Now, we can move him if we wanted to. I've got him on the side purposely, but we could actually move him to the middle. I'm going to leave him on the side for this for now, so you can kind of see what we're talking about here. So when you come over here and you click this, You can come up here and go to 16 by, or excuse me, you want to go from 16 by 9. We're going to go to 9 by 16.
Yeah.
You can
There
see
you go.
it's going to change
And
here.
then
Now you'll notice the background is a little wonky here. That's because the background is still the old format, the 16 by 9, but it's just a background. So we can just do that.
Yeah.
And of course, we can move our friend here into the middle.
Yeah.
And there you go. You now got a 9 by 16. Now, for me personally, I'd also probably want to shrink him down. Maybe that's too much, but.
Yeah, but you get the idea, you know.
So you can do stuff like that. Now, speaking of doing stuff like that, and Steve, I don't know if you've messed with any of this, but actually, I'm going to go out of here for a second and pull up another video, and you guys can get a kick out of this if I can find one if I can find the one I'm talking about here. Like, let's see if I can find the one. Okay, like these right here. You may notice. I look a little different in this, Steve. Do I not?
Somewhat.
Yeah, I'm a little more broad-shouldered, little thinner waist, thinner face, and brighter blue eyes, a little more hair. Well, believe it or not, and Steve, I doubt you've messed with this at all, but you can actually adjust what somebody in the video actually looks like. Okay? So if you come up here, you're going to see these are your basic video controls here. And this is what we talked about before. You got the scale, you got the positions, you got the blends and all that kind of stuff in here that you can mess with. You can mess with the lighting. We're going to talk about relighting in a minute too, because that's a really, really cool feature. But if we move over here, first of all, you've got remove background. Now, what's interesting here, and I don't know if you've messed with this too much, Steve, but this has your green screening in it, which in this case here, I shot this on a green screen. But what's really interesting about this particular video is they have this thing called auto removal. Okay. And so if you're just standing on a regular background, you're standing in your living room, you can still do a green screen effect without being on a green screen. And it's going to remove that background as best it can and leave just you in the image. And it actually does a shockingly good job. However, I actually found that when you're on the green screen, the chroma key worked better than the auto removal, which you would think the auto removal would be perfect when it's on a green screen, and it really wasn't. It actually, I don't want to say struggled, but it did better just manually doing a green screen. Yeah. But it did such a good job when you were on a background that was wild and crazy that I couldn't believe that hitting that for the green screen didn't do as well. So just a weird little note on there. But either way, we did that. So I was on a green screen. I pulled it out here.
How did you get to that function there?
Which one? The green screen?
Well, just what we're in right now. The green screen.
So we're in the we've got the video of me selected, not the background, just me. And then under the video controls, which are in the top middle here.
I see.
And then in here we had the basic controls, which allow you to change like the size and whatnot.
I get it now. You know what threw me is you'd moved a preview over to the far right, so that's what threw me off. So.
Yeah, no, I know. I can't
I'm
say
such
the top right anymore.
I'm such a creature of habit, you know.
I know, me too. Now you've got your masking tools here if you needed those, and that's going to allow you to do different shape masks and things. I'll be honest with you, I've never even used that feature yet, and not just in here. I think I've barely ever used it in any editor, but it is there for you if you want to do. I shouldn't say that. In Final Cut, I use it for some things, but it's rare. Now this is the fun one, the retouch. Okay. Oh. I know I just said couldn't recognize face for some reason, but now if you notice here, you've got skin adjustments, so I can turn it off. And look at that. You see the difference there, Steve? I know it's probably subtle.
Okay, do it again. Oh, yeah,
that's
I
off,
see it. Yeah.
And that's on.
Yeah.
So off, you'll see like the highlight on my cheek there and all this other stuff. This kind of smooths out the skin.
Yeah.
Gets rid of some of the wrinkles and honestly makes it look a little bit fake, but that's okay. I don't care about that. Now you've got here, this one here is the whitening effect, and you can adjust that to change some of the whitening of it. I give myself a bit more of a tan than I really would have in real life. And then down here, you've got your skin tone, so you can actually choose a base skin tone for them to work with.
Oh, I see.
Now, for me, I think I used this one here, which is actually much darker than my actual skin, but it actually looked the best for that. Now, down here, you can change the warmth of that. kind of make it look however you want.
So
You can change the,
you don't look like the pasty white boy you are.
that is exactly right. Now down as you move down here, you've got a lot more features in here that you can mess with. Like this one here, the features the eyes, for instance. You can come in here and you can now for some reason, I don't know if you noticed this, Steve, it said it couldn't find the face, so it doesn't seem to be letting me do it on myself here for some reason right now. And I'm not sure why, because normally that works perfectly fine. And you can come in here, you can add makeup and things, but I don't think it's going to let me do it right now. I think it's
Well, but
having trouble connecting to the server.
we know it's there for and for what a reason.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not letting us do it, but you could, you can do all sorts of crazy makeup things in here, like, give yourself eyeshadow and lipstick and all sorts of fun things like that. You can also do manual stuff here. I'll see if it'll let me do that. So this would allow you to do like get rid of freckles and acne spots and smooth your skin out. Okay, and you can come in here and you can mess with any of that stuff here. This would be the brush size. And then you can kind of brush on some of that stuff there. And it says, yeah, adjust within the face frame. So I think it's having trouble for whatever reason. It's not connecting to the server properly, which is sad.
That's because we're doing a live stream.
That could be why. It could be because we're already doing a live stream. So, like you notice here, wide shoulders.
Yeah, okay. Oh, all right. Yeah.
Now you notice now it kind of looks unrealistic. But, what are you going to do? Now, body. Kind of adjust that. Your waist. We don't see my legs, so I didn't mess with that. The chest. I can do. Dun, 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 dun. Hans and Franz. And you got hips, which, you can kind of see my hips there, but smooth things out a little bit. You can brighten things up. And then you got your manual tools down here, which you can stretch different parts of you. So it's very, very cool what you could do with this. It's ridiculous, but it's cool. Face presets, if you have any in there, which I don't. Body presets, if you have, you can put them in there. But you can do all sorts of cool things in here. I made myself look younger. I missed the hair thing. I think it's because we can't get to it right now. It's not letting us in. But I adjusted my hairline a little bit. It gave me fuller hair. So it does a lot of cool things. But not many people know that's in there. And, be careful doing that. But I had fun with it.
Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now, the next thing is your audio. And this is going to be your normal stuff here. There is some cool stuff we're going to talk about, though. You can see you've got your fade-ins and you got your volume. I don't know if we're going to be able to do the one thing that I want while we're live streaming, if it's giving us trouble. We're going to try it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut a piece of our video here. I don't want to do the whole thing because it'll take longer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split this video here. So I'm going to use just this little clip here, which is what? How many seconds is that? And that's about 6 seconds worth. And you'll notice here, first of all, you got all the things like enhanced voice, normalize loudness, so you don't have like really high and really low spots. You can do all that kind of stuff in here. You can do your fade ins and fade outs. But now you'll notice here, Steve, what did that say? That says video translator. Okay. Now, what is video translator? Well, I'm going to show you right now. So let's listen to this for a second here.
I can't hear it, but.
Oh, you can't hear that? Oh, come on.
Well,
if you can't hear that, that's going to be no good. Why can't you hear that? Stupid Zoom. All right. Well, I'm going to describe
it would be some settings I would have to change, and it'd take me forever to figure out. Sorry.
So basically, this is a little introduction to me, and it's in English, okay? Mm-hmm. Now, when I come here and I hit video translator, I can change the language, translate from English to, and there's a few languages in here. Obviously, Spanish is the one that I use most of the time when I'm doing things. So if I click this button here, now I do have to let you know, this costs credits. So when you have the paid version, you get credits along with all those things opening up for you. So when you do certain types of processes, it's going to use up some of those credits. So I just used those here. I think it finished already. Let me find out. Oh, no, it did not. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, apply. It's going to take me 24 whole credits, and I've got what, 1,200 or something. So I don't know. So we're going to hit apply, and you're going to see when I hit apply, it's going to take a few moments here. You can see it's counting up here, and ooh, it's going slow today, but it is working. So what this is going to do is going to do one of two cool things. One, it's going to take the words, translate them to Spanish, and give you a Spanish voiceover. Two, it's going to voice print your voice so that the Spanish is still your voice, still sounds like your voice speaking Spanish. And third, it's actually going to adjust the video so that it still lip syncs your video to the words being said, so it doesn't look like an old kung fu movie. Now, is it 100% perfect with that? No, probably not, but it's pretty darn good. Now, the voice translation is fantastic. The lip syncing is really good, and in fact, it's better than most of those old movies. So I see in the future that we're going to get movies translated a lot easier because this does a lot better than the dubbing that they do now. And you can see now it's going. Now it says waiting. So obviously, I think the live stream. I think Steve, you're right. I think the live stream is hurting our ability to do some of the stuff in here.
Yeah.
But it's going to actually do that translation, and then instead of me speaking in English, I'm going to be speaking in Spanish. So it's a very, very cool tool. One that, quite honestly, blew my mind when I first saw it. And I was showing people. I'm like, come in here. You got to see this. You got to see this. You got to see this. So, well, it says completed. So, but it says up here it's still going. But it just said completed on the screen, but I don't think it's completed.
I'll get excited, and of course, I work at home, so it's just me and my wife. Come on, you got to see this. You got to see it, and I show it to her, and she goes, "Oh,
wow, oh,
that's
okay.
great." Yeah.
Now I will tell you, playing this back, I wish you guys could hear it. It's certainly in Spanish.
Okay.
So it's that simple to do.
We get the idea. Yeah, I should have hooked up the system audio part of this, but
That's all right. That's all right. They get the idea. You just have to trust us, baby. Trust us. So that's one of the really cool kind of, I don't want to say hidden features because it's right there, but people don't know what it is, and they don't use it very often. Now, you've also got reduced noise, so it's going to sample the audio and reduce noises. If you've got buzzes and hisses in your sound, it'll try to help doing that. Voice isolation, I'll be honest with you, in CapCut, I don't use it very often. In Final Cut Pro, it's a game changer, an absolute game changer. And I'm sure it probably is in here too. Most of the stuff that I've done in CapCut has been recorded on my, very nice microphone, so I haven't had to do much, so even if it helps, it's such a minimal amount of help needed that, it's tough to tell. I'll need to bring in some bad audio and mess with it sometime to do that. And of course, you can use your fill channel here. That's just going to help you to get the audio to your channels in full sound and whatnot. The next thing here, your speed effects. And we won't get too much into that because I don't want to take too much time, but you kind of get the idea what that does. That's going to speed up and slow down your videos. And you can do it on a curve so that, for instance, you don't just take a video and make it 2-speed. You can make it ramp up to really fast and then slow down. So you can do those types of things. And you can see it's got different waves in there for that. And then it's got different velocity effects that you can add into it as well. Okay, so that's just going to help you to, again, just kind of ramp up that speed and then bring it back down. You've also got your animation here. Now, your animation, what this is going to do, I want people to understand there's a few different things that you can do in here. So animation, in fact, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here to the stickers for a second because I want to bring in, it doesn't matter. I'm just going to bring this in here. Okay, so we got this sticker in here. So it's a subscribe sticker, and it just kind of pops in there. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So when you get into this, now you'll notice up here, this looks totally different now. When I click on me, notice the changes that happen in the actual inspector window there. Okay.
Right.
So when I click on the stickers, you'll see it does have animation in here. And if we click on the animation, it's going to give you, these are animations for bringing this graphic in and out, and also loop, which would be For instance, in might be the animation is going to fly in from the side and land in the middle and then sit there. Out would be it's going to fly back out to the right and go away. The loop is going to be what it does while it's on the screen. Okay. So in here, let's say we do a bounce in, and you can see it makes that bounce in. So it doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It actually bounces in. You can do, and there's a lot of these different effects. There's a zoom. Okay. You've also got the out, which is going to be the opposite. That's going to make it go away. Hey, it's still going away. Okay. And then the loop, as I said, is going to keep it going. So this one here, like for instance, the little rocker one here. So that's just going to give you 3 different types of animation. Now, when we click on us, we're still going to have animation in here. It's going to be a little bit different, though. You're going to see it's all these different animation effects. They look a little different. So, for instance, if we wanted to, one of the things that you'll see in a lot of these types of videos is when the person comes on the screen, instead of them just being there like that, a lot of times, the person like at the very beginning, that's where you're going to get this. So you're going to use your in, and you can choose one of these. So like I could choose this. Which is a pretty bad one.
Cool.
So I use things like this all the time for the beginning of these little videos. There's a lot of them. Okay. And the same thing for the out. So we can do an out. That's what the out's going to look like. TV turning off. And then you've got the combo, which is kind of the in and out here. You see when it gets to the end, boom, I go away. So it's going to do both of those things. Now, I know this is going to be really tough to see, but if you look at this here, you'll notice that right down at the very bottom, and I don't know if you can even see that, Steve, there's like a little white line here.
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
So we did the combo, the in and out. So when you do an in, you're going to see that white line on the left-hand side. And if you do an out, you're going to see that white line on the right-hand side. Here you see it in the middle, so it kind of works in reverse. Okay. So instead of, if you had an in animation, you drag it out to make the in longer. In this case here, you're dragging left and right to remove some of that in and out. So if we take this, and if I can even reach it, because it's so darn small and I'm blind.
It is.
But anyway, you can also do it on the screen up here too, which is probably the smarter way to do it. So you can actually grab this and you can move it, okay? And you can make it. Now you'll notice I'm going to disappear a lot sooner, okay? So you can adjust that here. So you can adjust it in either spot if your eyes are good enough to be able to do it. And you'll notice it on here too. You can see this one has the in, so you get the little white line in the beginning and the end for the in and the out, as opposed to the middle. So here you're defining what is not the in and out. Here you're defining what is the in and what is the out. Hope that makes sense. Sounds a little weird.
No,
and then you've also got the ability to do tracking here. I'm not going to get big into tracking right now because we don't have the footage for that. But this would be like, let's say you've got, let's say you had a video of a mouse walking through a maze, right? You could track that mouse and then put a graphic on that mouse. So, for instance, let's say you had your logo. You could put your logo on that mouse. You wouldn't see the mouse anymore, and your logo would be walking through the maze. Wherever the mouse goes, the logo would stay on the mouse because it's going to track it. So that's what tracking does, just allows you to do fun stuff like that. Now, another really cool thing, and again, I wish our audio worked because it's not going to be nearly as fun without being able to hear this. But I'm going to turn these off here so I can hear it. But right here we have one of my favorite songs that I use for my videos called It's a Beautiful Day. And in this case here, oh, you know what? In this case here, this is the instrumental version. Well, believe it or not, there is no instrumental version for this particular song. Okay? So what I've actually done is I've actually made this an instrumental song. And the way I did that was I actually took the original song, which A Beautiful Day by Tim McMorris, and you guys have probably heard it. It's a beautiful day. If you watched any of my videos, you've heard it. And that song has an introduction, but it's fairly short, maybe like 4 measures or so. I can't remember.
What does it sound like again?
Hey, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah, I've heard
Tim
that.
is much better than
I've heard that. I've heard that ad nauseum.
Yes, I use it. Yeah, I use it on all my videos. It's just kind of the song I've adopted. And it only has like a 4 or an 8 measure open. I can't remember which. So it plays a ding 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 ding, and then the sun shines bright. He starts singing. Well, sometimes I need more than those 8 measures, right? Now I could take that beginning, and if I was really good with audio, I could cut off the beginning and I could loop it, and but then it's going to sound like it's looped. It's not the full song. Well, inside of CapCut, one of the really cool things that they have is this vocal isolation button right here. Okay.
Oh.
Now, this song, of course, already has the vocals removed. I already saved it out as an instrumental, but you can take any song. I mean, any song. I've done it with many of them. I have not seen it fail yet. You take a song that has vocals in it, you come in here and you hit vocal isolation. And what you're going to have is two options: keep vocal or remove vocal. And so what that's going to do is it's going to either take the vocals out of the music and leave you with just the music, or it's going to take out the music and leave you with just the vocals. Either way, it works brilliantly. Now, when it removed the vocals from the music, I was like, wow, that's really cool, because obviously there's a lot more room for error because you got all that music playing and stuff like that. If it didn't do it perfectly, you're probably not going to be able to hear. What really blew my mind was the isolated vocals, where you could play back just the singing with no music in the background. And I'm not kidding. Every time I've tried it, 100% perfect. You did not hear a split second of like a drum or, a horn at some point. Nothing. It was just the vocal. It was that good. And I was able to take that Tim McMorris song, turn it into a vocal, and use it underneath things where I couldn't have him singing, where it would distract from the actual video. So very cool tool that, again, it's not like it's hidden. It's right there. But what it does is amazing. Amazing. So,
Is it
Steve,
amazing?
those are kind of it is amazing. Those are kind of some of my favorite things that are in here. Now, we didn't even talk about actual video editing because, let's be honest, the actual video editing is the same as almost any other editor.
Okay, well, we'll show the editing real quick.
Sure.
I think that's important because I have a client that likes to do some of his own videos, mostly just shorts and stuff. And
Yep.
he said, well, what do you use? And I said, well, I use Vegas, but that's only because I've used it for 15 years. And he goes, well, I tried all
I
kinds
think they
of
stopped
different
making it
things.
15 years ago, too.
Huh? What'd you say?
Nothing.
Oh,
I think they
and
stopped making it 15 years ago, too.
yeah. And, but, no, they're still making it, just not
I
Sony.
know.
But he said the easiest for me to figure out was CapCut, and that's what he uses for his editor. He said the other ones, like I don't know, DaVinci Resolve, is that one of them, or whatever. He said I just couldn't.
That one you got to have a master's degree.
Yeah, well, and I don't know
what
what he was trying to figure out, but and he's a smart guy. He's one of the smartest guys I know. But he said, boy, CapCut I was able to figure out easily. So if you could just touch on the editing a little bit.
Yeah, so it's a basic timeline editor. So this works the same as if you were using, HitFilm, or if you're using DaVinci, or if you're using Final Cut or iMovie, Premiere, any of those. They use basically a timeline-based editor. And what that means is that you've got a timeline. So this is the beginning, this is the end, this is the middle. And you've got different layers, and the layers work from the bottom. Well, I don't know how to explain that. From the bottom is your base layer, the top is your top layer. So if you were looking down at it, you'd be seeing this here. So if we turn this back on, this is going to show up over the background, okay? Because this is higher up here. So you're going to see this over this. Now you'll notice we've got this over here too. So when we go to that, we see this over both of these things, and it covers the full screen.
Right.
So you can't see anything there.
Just
so
like a normal video editor. Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. There's no real difference in it. There's some subtle differences, but nothing crazy. And here you've got your text layer.
Okay, so
your effects layer.
When I'm in Vegas, I import a video, and then I think I right click on it any number of different ways to get to the trimmer. So
Yep.
if I look at the video preview box, there's video and trimmer. So I open up trimmer, and that's where I can do my editing. You basically go in and do a set in point and a set out point, and you save it that way. Is that what you do in CapCut?
You can, yep. So
Okay.
that would be here. So this is your footage,
Uh-huh.
and you can trim it down to where you want.
I see.
If I can grab the handle, there we go.
Oh, so you can
You
trim
trim that
it
down to what you
there
want,
and then put it in your timeline.
and now
I
you
get
notice you
it.
just get that little bit.
That is pretty
Okay.
simple. Yeah.
Yep, it's the same as most of them. Final Cut works very similarly. Premiere works very similarly. So there's not a whole lot of difference there. And then of course now you try. Many people try to be pretty perfect with that, but even if you're not perfect with that, it doesn't really matter too much. You put that in here. You come in and you can be like, oh, you know what? I need to start it here. I mean, you can trim that. Oops. Again, sorry, I'm blind here. You can trim that just like so, and now you've got the same thing going on. And you can trim the endings all the same to make sure you get exactly what you want.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to start in the beginning all the way down to the end of this. Now, what is a little different in this one than some of the editors is this one has a text layer. Okay. So you can see this is the text layer here. You see it looks a little different. It's thinner. It's got the T there. And this here, it's got the little effects button here. So this is the effects layer. Okay. Or a graphic layer, whatever you want to call it. And those are a little bit different because you'll notice if I try to move that into a regular layer, it's not going to do it. It's going to keep it in there. Now it'll adjust between these here, but it's going to stay in a text or a graphics layer there. Whereas with these, we can put these on any layer we want. It does separate the audio into a separate area. And what I mean by that is you'll notice this line here is a little bit thicker. So everything below this thick line is audio. Everything above is video. So I can't put audio up here. It's not
Yeah.
going to let me do
Right.
that,
Right. Okay.
which is nice. A lot of the editors do that. They separate it out. Some of them don't even do that. Some of them keep it synced up
My,
together.
my,
Like this
yeah,
here is synced up.
Vegas will do that, but I don't ever do it. So,
Yeah.
um,
And like the audio that's in the video itself is going to stay with it unless you
right.
purposely tell it to detach, which you can do that. You can remove it and then put it in its own audio area as well. But it's going to, otherwise, it'll keep it together with that. But that's the basics of how that's set up here. Now, as you're editing, again, you're going to use basic tools to trim. Okay. You can move things about to where you want them.
Mhm.
You can change layers if you need to. And again, you're just going to put the graphic wherever you need to put it. Your music is down here. Now you can adjust, for instance, with your music, you can adjust how loud it is just by dragging this here, or you can do it up here as well. So this is up here is going to be a little more precise for you. So we probably want it around like a negative 23, 22, 21, somewhere around there. And that's going to keep the music low enough that you can still hear me talking and whatnot. Now, when you want to put things together, again, right here where I wanted to add in this graphic of the YouTube, I just drag that in and put that over the video there so that it covers it up and shows it where you want. Now, you notice I put little graphics on there or animation on there, which again was done through our animation layer
Mhm.
up here.
Mhm.
And we just choose the animations that we want to add to it. Okay. Now, when we have things on the same line, so for instance, if we put this one here in the same same layer, now we can do things like adding transitions. And so again, we come over here to our transitions area. We can choose a transition that we like. We can drag it in, drop it on there. And so now, well, actually, I forgot we got the animation on there, so there's nothing to transition from, but you still see the transition as it goes into that there. And again, this here, we can adjust it by dragging it to make it bigger, or you can come to the video area here, go to the basics, and you can scale that till you have it in the right spot. Okay. And you can move these things around, or you can use these here to move it around too. It's up to you how you want to do that. You can position it any way you want. You got rotation as well. Okay. And so now, there you go. You can see it transitions into the me as full screen. Now, the other things that you can do with these is you can keep adding all these different layers on here and build all this up. start to add your transitions in, adjust your audio, just like we were doing before to make sure that we hear it well enough. And again, each one of these, you're going to come in here and you're going to make adjustments to make it sound better. So we can normalize that we can enhance the voice. All of those types of things can be done just by going into each clip and making those changes here. Now, what's great about this is they do keep it very simple, but again, you can add your effects too. So don't forget about all these cool effects that you can add in here. So we could add this onto me here. And so now we've got this little glitch effect going on. Okay.
There you go.
Now you'll notice, you see this little blue bar here. What they do is when you have an effect like that on here, they put this blue bar and that allows you to adjust that. So if we wanted to adjust the glitch, we can make the glitch go away halfway through and goes back to normal. So you can adjust that here. You can also delete it if you need to. And if you undo it, it's going to put it back. Now you'll notice we don't see the blue bar now, right? But you see that star there?
Yep.
That star tells you there's an effect on there, even though you're not seeing it yet. However, if you double click on that, or if you come up here, you can come in and you can start to see those effects to make your adjustments again. So it's just a matter of how you want to work on that. But the effects are always there. You just may not see it until you bring it back up into the front. And you can add more than one effect, by the way, too. So we've got this effect here. We'll bring it back to the end. And let's say we wanted to add, I don't know, this to it as well. We could do that. We can add another effect. And so now we got two effects going on here. Okay, so you can see you can stack these things and get some really cool results very, very quickly as you put more and more effects onto these. And so the idea here is go in, edit your timeline, make sure you got your music, do all of that, and then start adjusting things like your audio sounds, your effects, put in your transitions, and really enhance that video. But get the basics down first. It's usually easier to do that because for me, one of my sticking points, and for good or bad, probably bad in a lot of cases, is I like consistency. So for instance, I don't like videos where clip number 1 is in black and white, and clip number 2 is in bright color, and clip number 3 is in sepia tones, and clip number 4 is X-ray. And it's like, if you're going to do those kinds of effects, and I like the consistency a little bit, unless it really calls for it. So I don't like to mix a lot of different effects in the same video. I like the consistency. So if you put together the video first, then add your effects, you kind of have that ability to build a nice, consistent video that looks good. But that's the basics of the editing. Again, you got tools here. This is just your undo. These are your tools. So the one you're going to use the most is the select tool, which is just to click on things. Okay. But you also have things like your split tool. And what that's going to do is that's like a razor blade. In fact, it looks like a razor blade. You can split things. Now I use this button here to split, but you can do it by having that in there as well. You can do the select forward button, which you're not really going to see how that works. That's the select backward button, isn't it? Yeah, that's backward. So what that's going to do is it's going to select everything backward. Okay. So you notice like these didn't get selected, these didn't get selected. And the select forward does the exact opposite. So if we click on this here, it's going to get everything that goes forward. Okay. And what that's for is when you need to move a bunch of layers all at the same time, it makes it a little easier to be able to do that for you, as opposed to just selecting one. Now you've got your split tool here that's going to split the video in half. So it's going to make a cut there wherever you want. You got the delete left key and you got the delete right key, which I'm sure you can guess exactly what that does. You've also got the regular delete key, which again, you don't even need that because I can hit delete on the keyboard. It's going to do the same thing because we like keyboard shortcuts. You've also got the marker. So if you want to put a marker on here, we used to use that in the old days. That's usually to mark, like, let's say you're going through a video and you know that, oh, right here, I need to add that map of the United States or whatever. So you can mark that. And so that when you come back, you don't have to find the spot again. You know that's where it goes. You drop the picture or the whatever it is in there and you're ready to go. In the old days, we used to use that to make markers for chapters for DVDs. I'd actually mark each one of those and mark it as a DVD chapter. When I'd export it out, it would automatically add a DVD chapter. But nowadays, it's mostly just for marking things that you want to see. In here, this is the reverse button. Obviously, you can guess what that does here. This is the mirror button. So what this is going to do is it's going to do exactly what it sounds like. It's going to mirror your video. This one here, we got the rotate, which obviously is going to rotate. Got the crop button, so this is going to crop to the ratio. And then he's got these two new ones here. This is the transcript button, which again is a pro feature. And then this one here is the split scenes, which again is a pro feature. You're probably not going to do the scenes very often, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. Keep to the basics for now. But all these tools are in here ready to go. On the right-hand side here, you got different tools here, like this one. This is going to turn off the main track magnet. This one here is going to put on snapping. And what snapping is it's going to, see, like when I bring this close, it's going to snap into position and tell you, so you don't accidentally leave gaps and things like that. It's a feature that I use all the time, specifically because we want to do that. You can turn off linkage here, which if you don't know what that is, that's where things are linked together. You can break that linkage with the button. And then you've got your turn on preview. And then of course you got your different zoom features over here, which is going to be for the timeline. And of course you can drag in and out for that. So those are your basic features. Again, it's very similar to a lot of the other editors out there: Final Cut, Adobe Premiere, HitFilm, Camtasia. The only one that really is quite different would be if you use ScreenFlow, which still has a lot of similarities, but they do things a little bit differently. But all the features you need to edit a video are here. I have friends who are professional editors, and this is what they use now.
Wow.
Now, I will tell you, as a professional editor, there are some things that are missing from CapCut that kind of preclude me from using it exclusively, but it's not stuff that's going to affect you with your editing. It affects me because I've got, I'm doing lots of projects that have to interact with each other. And that's the one thing that this is kind of missing, is that ability. So for instance, if I want to use these, if I want to use these graphics here in another video, if I copy these, I can't do that. It's not going to let me do that, unfortunately. I wish it would, and maybe someday it will. But, for instance, in Final Cut, I could have two different projects open here, and then somewhere up here, there'd be a button to switch to the next project. Now, I can tell you they're probably going to go in that direction, because one thing that you can do with this, if I can remember where they keep it in here, is you can create a compound clip, which is where it takes what's here, which right now we got two clips here, right? What we're going to do is we're going to turn that into one clip unto itself. And you can do this by hitting Option G. And where is it in the menu? There it is. So compound, click on that. So now you see it looks like it's one clip. It's no longer two clips there. And this allows you to have something else open. So the fact that they're allowing you to do this tells me that at some point in time, they're going to allow you to have more than one project open at the same time and be able to flip back and forth between them. Right now, if you click on that, it's going to open up the other project there. And so now you can edit that project. So that is CapCut. And again, right here, that's how you go back. So that is CapCut and the basics of editing. Again, I've spent a long time looking for a video editor that was free or extremely inexpensive, powerful, had the effects where we could have a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, a plumber be able to edit their own videos, so that my agency students, people I work with that run agencies that aren't necessarily video editors, they've got something where they can edit some videos now where they, would have to hire somebody before. Now they kind of do some of this stuff themselves. So it is a very, very good video editor, especially if you're going to be doing things for the web and whatnot. I've never used it for a TV commercial, for instance, to see the high-end output, but I do believe it has the ability to put out high-end video as well. So there shouldn't be any issues with that. So if you needed to do something to put out to Hulu or to send to a local cable station, I'm pretty sure you would be able to do that. Which is another thing we should mention too, is you've got your export button up in the top right here. And this is where you can choose where it's going to go. You choose the format that you want. In our case here, we got it at 1080p, but you can do 4K, you can do 8K. Your bit rate, it's at the recommended right now, but you can go higher, you can go lower. It's up to you. You got your codecs. So you can see it does have Apple ProRes. So you can do high quality output. And you got your formats. You can do MOV or MP4. The Windows version might also do AVIs or something. I'm not sure. Steve, you might be able to answer that. I'm not sure on that one here. on
Yeah,
the export
I
and
don't
everything.
use AVI. Everything's MP4.
Yeah. So, and then of course you got your frame rates here, so you can change that as well, 24 frames up to 60 frames. And there you go. Audio, same thing. You can choose your audio formats, captions, etc. Captions here, what they're talking about this is going to be if you're using actual closed caption, you can export the captions out in the different caption formats like SRT or as a TXT.
Very good.
And YouTube understands those. So
Well, let's wrap it up. Tell us about Movo.
oh, well, I'll tell you, if you're going to make videos and you're going to use CapCut, you need to be able to shoot some pretty good videos and you need to have good lighting and you need to have good sound. And CapCut can help you to do that. In fact, not only do they have some great lapel microphones, they've got desktop microphones, they got stands, they've got lighting for your videos, they've got an entire kit that'll turn your smartphone into a full video production studio. So, if you want to be able to shoot better video, make it sound better, do better recordings for your podcasts and your voiceovers, head on over to Movo by heading to raiselinks.com/Movo and pick up some great products today. And there you go. That's it, Steve.
All right. Thanks, Ray. Appreciate all this and appreciate everybody that's been watching the tutorial.